Welcome back, everyone, to Mike on Money. My name is Michael LeBlanc, Director and Senior Portfolio Manager at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. And thanks for joining us here, where we talk about everything financial. And today we're going to be talking about investing for high income earners. Believe it or not, the more income you make, the more challenges it comes to saving for your long-term goals, especially retirement and other aspects like that. So I'm going to touch on some of the challenges that you're going to face and some of the solutions that we have out there, because there are solutions, especially around tax strategies and how you can reduce your taxes on that income that you're saving towards those longer term goals. But before we get started, as always, remember everything we talk about on these videos is for information purposes only. Do your own due diligence before applying any strategy to your investment goals. And talk to a professional. Reach out to us at mikeonmoney.com. Happy to answer any questions and how your situation could be addressed, or how we can improve your after-tax dollar savings for your goals specifically and your risk profile, because it's really important. So with that, let's dive into investing for high income individuals. So when we say the challenges that you have, there are many. And again, everyone's situation is unique. And I know we all hate hearing that. Just tell me the rules, Mike. I don't want kind of, this brushstroke of, oh, well, it's different for everyone, so I can't give you the answer. But it is in a lot of situations. But I'm going to try to break it down as specific as possible, but still giving you a strong general idea. So when you're earning a higher income, so the first challenge you have is, if you're able to save some extra money, is you're going to cap out on your RSP room, right? You're going to use it all up, and you'll hit the annual maximum of $27,000 a year pretty quickly, and also putting that much money into your RSPs year over year, dependent on your investment strategies, you can be left with a big RSP down the road, which can be a big challenge, tax challenge in its own right, dependent on your other income sources in retirement. Sometimes you read in the paper, is it good? RSPs are bad ideas, RSPs are good ideas. The truth of the matter is, they're great ideas if they're used properly. It's like any tool. But it shouldn't be your only tool in your box, because that's where you'll run into problems. So if you're saving regularly into the RSP and you're maxing that out, if you're not using other strategies, you're going to run into a big RSP problem down the road, where all your income's coming out of the RSP. It's all fully taxable. There's no tax benefits. And you might be even a higher income down the road, at least the same income down the road, in which case you're not getting the benefit of those RSP tax deductions. Yeah, you're deferring them, but you might be hit with them harder down the road, and potentially a big estate issue, which is another problem that it can lead into. So, that's a big challenge when your income's higher, is you can cap out in the RSP, and it can be dangerous dependent on that situation again. So then secondly, people will look at their, okay, well, I've saved my RSPs. Now I'm going to do my tax-free savings account. Well, the challenge is there's not a lot of room in the tax-free savings account on a year-over-year basis. At time of filming this, you get 76,500 in personal room, lifetime room. You might have used some, you might not have. But every year you get, right now it's set at $6,000 a year. So that's not a lot of extra savings to shelter from tax. It is good in the long run that you do max out your tax-free savings account, because as opposed to the RSP, it does come out tax-free, and it does compound tax-free inside there the whole time you have it. So it is worth maximizing that tax-free savings account and growing it over time. Because it is going to be a good source to diversify your income from that RSP in retirement. Because if you blend, even dollar for dollar coming out, you're going to pay 50% less tax, because half of it's tax-free, half of it's taxable, and maybe even a little bit less if you could knock yourself down a tax bracket or two. But after that, if if you've got more cash flow available for savings, where do you go from there? Yes, you can have an investment account, and everything you invest in that is taxable. The growth on it's taxable. Dividends every year, interest every year, and capital gains, of course, when you trigger them. And you can manage that that investment account more tax efficiently, so that you're not being dinged as much with taxation. But I also would recommend that you be very cautious, about deferring the capital gains, which is a powerful way to save on taxes. But you just defer it to a later date. And again, you got to look at your bigger picture. Are you building up too much of a future capital gain that's going to come back and haunt you? It's very important to manage those capital gains over years, dependent on other sources of income. If your income fluctuates year to year, and if you have other type of investments that could be triggered at the same time, use different strategies like tax loss selling at the end of the year, or slowly triggering some capital gains over time in order to minimize or mitigate that tax liability over several years, as opposed to taking it all in 1 year. If that kind of be the case. And a good time to review that is always kind of near the end of the year, November-ish. Take a look at your income for that year versus next year versus the year before. Is there opportunity for tax loss selling? Is there opportunity to trigger some controlled capital gains in the portfolio to mitigate that longer term tax liability that you might be building up? So something to keep in mind on those accounts, but not a lot of flexibility around those. It does, though, going back to the RSP problem, give you another source of income in retirement, where you might be drawing out capital gains and dividends, some TFSA, and some RSPs or RIFs at that point. And again, blending your tax rate down to reduce your tax liability in retirement. So, there's not one specific answer there, but it is a good strategy. Now, those are the simplest, easy go-to solutions. There are more, and they get a little bit more complicated to explain in a video here without, kind of being able to go through a specific illustration unique to you. But if you're a business owner, we have a lot of opportunities to invest within the company, sometimes even more tax attractive than an RSP. Of course, there's passive tax rules that we have to, or passive income rules that we have to be careful of taxation, and the use of holdcos and the transfer of dividends and family trusts. But there are a lot of corporate strategies we can build around to give you some good long-term tax preferred, we can never avoid tax, but tax preferred income saving strategies that will enhance your end of the day savings of on an after-tax basis, of course. But keep in mind, any of these strategies, don't blindly go into them thinking about them today, because as much as you might be maximizing your savings today, you might be maximizing that particular savings vehicle today. What is the exit strategy? So if you're in a corporation, if you're in a trust, if you're in an RSP, what is that going to look like when you take it out? Because are you putting yourself behind putting yourself between a rock and a hard spot when it comes to the withdrawal? Are you going to get dinged on taxes or penalized on taxes down the road? If you haven't thought it out, doesn't mean any one of those are wrong, but if you haven't thought it out, what the exit strategies are, you could be putting yourself in a tough situation. Now, there are also some different strategies, often called leverage strategies. I don't like that because most of the time people just strictly think of borrowing to invest. That is a strategy. Sometimes it's useful. It's not one we highly recommend, or if we do, it's in very specific situations because some of the risk attached to that. But there are different, another bad word is insurance strategies, but not in the sense that you're buying insurances, but you pre-fund the insurance policy with some of that savings and borrow your own money back and get deductions in the process and tax deferral in the process. Because remember, the money within that inside that insurance policy now is completely tax sheltered. We're mostly tax sheltered. Again, unique to everyone's situation on the funded number of years in there, et cetera, et cetera. So those are a couple of other easy ones you can use. And those insurance ones, again, work really well for business owners, but they also work for individuals. T4, C-suite individuals, you can set those up not only from an estate purpose, a tax purpose, an income purpose, And if it fits into your situation, they can be very powerful to enhance after-tax savings dollars and also the exit dollars. And remember, that's a very, very important factor, because you could do everything right on the savings side, but still get hit really hard on the exit. So keep that in mind. So with that, I'm going to leave it to you. Reach out to us at mikeonmoney.com if you have any questions, or you want to look at your situation in particular. Even if you've got an investment strategy out there right now and you're working with someone, never hurts to take another set of eyes, to take a look at a second opinion. We're happy to give you that. And remember, the outcomes are always, you're doing great, you could do better, here's what you should do, or we can really enhance your situation, and maybe you want to consider taking a look at what we can offer. With that, go enjoy your day. We'll talk to you again next week, where we're going to cover more about your financial situation. And don't forget, every week we do a live Tuesday at noon Pacific time, where we take a look at what happened in the markets previous week, what we see for the upcoming week, and we take a bit of a deep dive into a specific topic that we feel is timely and needs to be reviewed. With that, take care. Enjoy, everyone.